Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build that is pretty much centered around the new Nifty Knitting stuff pack. If you guys have not gotten this pack yet, I am just going to kick off this voiceover by saying I personally think it is very much worth the $10. Someone did ask me recently if I thought that this pack was worth it. And even though I haven't gotten into a lot of the gameplay, at least not very deeply, like I've had my Sims go ahead and kind of test things out with the knitting and like the rocking chairs because, you know, we all love the rocking chairs. But yeah, I really do think it's worth it. As you know, I'm mainly a builder. I also do some Let's Plays and challenges and all that fun stuff, but I love the build and buy objects. I think that they're really pretty, even though the swatches may not be my taste. And the added gameplay, since I'm more of like a family gameplay person, like this is what I needed and I absolutely love it. So if those things kind of resonate with you, know that this pack is probably going to be worth your investment. I wanted to put that out there out front since I've had some people ask me about it, and now we can talk about the build a little bit more. So this is just a home. I called this the crafter's crib because I thought it was cute, but it's a home for an elder sim and her maybe young adult daughter is what I was thinking. And maybe they live together because mom is getting a little too old to live on her own, and her daughter was kind of concerned about, you know, her safety, wanted to be nearby just in case she needed anything. So they either moved into this home together or someone already lived there, like either the daughter already lived there and she moved her mom in or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. But I really liked that idea. I was going to do an entire family home, but I loved the idea of like this mom and daughter duo like crafting away in their studio upstairs and like selling things on Plopsy and totally decorating their house in like these bright energetic colors and with all of their little craftables. It just seemed really, really sweet and maybe a little neurotic, but I definitely gravitate towards that. I'm not gonna lie. But I really enjoyed it. I liked the landscaping a lot too, because as you can see, I'm building in Brindleton Bay. So I felt like this afforded me the opportunity to use maybe a couple plants that I wouldn't normally. And when I say a couple plants, I literally mean like one plant that typically is found in Brindleton Bay, but I really liked being able to use that here. And the landscaping was just so loud and kind of like in your face. And I really liked that. I was going to go really simple and kind of manicured, but I was thinking that this mother-daughter duo are just super energetic. Maybe they're a little, oh, what's the word? Eclectic? I think that's the word I'm looking for. So I think the outside of the house and the inside of the house kind of speak to their personalities. So I'm excited to show off the build in its entirety, but I am wrapping up some of the landscaping in the front here. I don't do the backyard landscaping until I furnish the entire build, just because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted it to really look like. I wasn't sure like what activities I wanted in the backyard, if any, and I just kind of saved it for last just to see how I was feeling. But I added these nice orange flowers from Island Living right in the front because I thought it really, really matched the front door. Not that there's like a level of matching, like it literally matches, but I thought it was really nice. I thought it really made those colors pop against the blue siding that I used. I put a sprinkler in the front and then also one of these bikes from Eco Lifestyle. Maybe it's the daughter's bike, right? I'm not thinking that the older lady rides the bike around. I think she's maybe a little too old for that at this point. And then I add some rocking chairs on the front porch. Obviously, that goes without saying, right? So they can kind of like sit out there on their front porch and look at everyone kind of walking in the little courtyard there, because this is like that little courtyard downtown-ish area in Brindleton Bay. It's such a nice spot to imagine sitting and just watching people pass by, maybe with their pets and stuff, and of course, knit your life away. So that seems really nice. And then we go on to the interior, and I finish placing some of these windows and whatnot because I wanted to figure out the floor plan prior to placing the rest of the windows. It's such a rectangular build that I knew I had to figure that out before I placed the rest of the windows, just to ensure they weren't actually, I don't know, clipping any objects or like preventing me from placing objects in certain places where they kind of have to go, because it's honestly a kind of a small house. I was originally going to make it a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It's actually a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I was thinking maybe giving the young adult daughter a daughter of her own and kind of have like 3 generations in the home. But I wanted to make sure that they had a studio as well. And I didn't want to put the studio in the basement or like a bedroom in the basement. It just didn't seem to kind of fit the vibe that I was going for. So I don't know, I couldn't really make it work. So I just ended up going with like a mother-daughter pair. And it is just the 2 bedrooms. And then they have a studio kind of like on the landing space on the 2nd floor, which is, I mean, it's a full room, but it's basically where the stairs led up. So it felt more appropriate than having the stairs lead into a bedroom as well. I do that a lot, but sometimes it just rubs me the wrong way and I can't do it. And this was one of those times. And as you can see, I'm kind of struggling a little bit with the kitchen. I wanted this build to be ultra colorful. That was my goal. I did the retiree cottage, and I was striving for like neutrals and just clutter and miscellaneous items. In this one, I wanted it to be, like I said, very energetic, super colorful, so I could use some of the other swatches and some of the other items and the swatches that they have in this build itself. The objects that came with Nifty Knitting are just super bright. They're super colorful, and for me, it only fits certain kinds of builds. Like, for example, the color scheme in my apartment is very neutral. There's like whites and there's some like soft browns and some cream colors. So if I got a bright yellow or bright blue painted TV stand, that might stick out a little bit. Probably wouldn't look too great. I mean, there's no rules as to what you can and can't do in The Sims, obviously, but that was kind of my logic, because I wanted this entire build to be super colorful. So I ended up using this little console table here that has a little chalkboard on it. And I just really, really love this item. Again, I wish some of the swatches were just a little bit more neutral, but that one at least kind of worked with the flooring that I chose, and it also worked with the front door, so I felt like I could kind of mesh some different colors together. I think that this kind of a teal color, I want to say like a darker teal, that swatch of the chairs as well as like the rocking chair and the sofa, those are my favorite swatches. I absolutely love them, and I'm trying not to use them every time I use these objects now because I'm so tempted to do so, and I just absolutely love that color. I think it's such a pretty one. And I also worked a lot of tiny living stuff into this build. When I say a lot, I mean like that coffee table and the lamp. But those items do actually work really, really nicely with this pack, as well as Eco Lifestyle. It feels like the last 3 packs now that we've gotten really work well with one another in really unique ways. And I'm kind of torn. Like, part of me is thinking, well, why couldn't we have just gotten all of this stuff in one pack? I mean, I think I half know the answer. They are a business, but at the same time, I also understand why they wanted them to kind of stand alone, I suppose. I'm kind of curious as to what you guys think. It's always a conversation that I'm open to having, because I'm very curious as to how those decisions are made, just literally out of pure curiosity. I'm like a very process-driven person, so I kind of really want to know what the process is, the thought process behind all of that. But anyway, we are working out the rest of the living room and the kitchen, and I decorated that wall there with some embroidery hoops that we got with this pack and just some other miscellaneous decorations, because I just wanted to use as much of it as I could, like those little crocheted, I'm assuming crocheted or knitted, right? The little like mason jar holders, which I actually use in multiple different swatches throughout the entirety of this build, because I'm thinking that the daughter is really, you know, she just picked up this hobby with her mom, and they're really trying a bunch of different things. So maybe some of those objects are the ones that they don't want to part with, because they're some of the very first successful, like high quality items they made. And it's just a nice memory that they want to keep with one another. So they hang them all over the house, which made this build feel so much warmer and so much more like loving and comfortable and cozy. And it made me really kind of fall in love with it, even though I don't like how bright it is. Like, there's part of me that really doesn't like how bright everything is, but at the same time, I really liked the family that I envisioned living here, and I'm excited because I do want to make them. I don't think this is going to be part of my save file or anything like that. The first few builds that I make with like a new pack, typically I don't end up keeping for my save, because I learn more and more about the objects and find a different comfort level and really want to think through the families and the builds themselves. So this may not remain, this may not stay. I don't think I have a plan necessarily for this lot in Brindleton Bay yet, but I suppose you never know. But this is actually the mother's room, the elder mother, and I thought it very much looked like a grandma's room. She has a couple of different knitting baskets, or maybe just the one actually on the ottoman there. She has some plant hangers that she probably made herself, and she has a rocking chair in the corner of her room too. I'm going to overuse the rocking chairs. Just be prepared, like be ready, because I am not about to stop using them now. Like it has been too long that we have been waiting for them that I refuse to stop using them. But now we are on to the upstairs, and right here on the landing area in this room, which is pretty small considering I wanted 2 full bathrooms in this build. This is kind of like the little studio space, and I think maybe they both craft, but the daughter is the one that really runs like the Plopsy business, because she doesn't want her mom to feel as though this is like too much of a job or like too much of a chore in her older age. She wants it to be a fun hobby, and every now and then if they're able to actually sell some of these things, then great. I don't think it's their full-time job. Like I don't think the daughter only makes things to sell on Plopsy. I think she has another full-time job, but she has kind of like a successful side hustle. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to use this little like crafting pegboard, which was really exciting, as well as the smaller one. And then I placed a bunch of toys thinking that these were things that she's kind of come up with, and maybe these are the products that she's going to sell next. And it's just so vibrant, and the upstairs also gets a lot of sunlight. So all in all, I really liked the little studio room, even though it's kind of an awkward shape. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's a weird shape. It's the situation is a little bit weird, but all in all, I really liked it. And here I'm changing up the swatches of those little mason jar hangers, like I mentioned, because I didn't want them to all be completely identical. And then I move on to the daughter's room, which is upstairs, because I didn't want mom to have to go up and down the stairs all the time. So the daughter's room is very pink. I was thinking that that was the force behind the office being fairly pink, even though there's a lot of yellow in there too, but the daughter's room is like super pink. She's the one that basically ensured that the house was extremely vibrant because it's just totally her thing. She is one of those people, if we're thinking like a real person, like in real life, she loves Pinterest. I mean, I love Pinterest. Doesn't mean your house is going to look like this if you love Pinterest, but I'm just saying she's definitely one of those like Pinterest crafters, and she absolutely just loves the color pink. It's her favorite. That's all I'm going to say. And she just has a dresser decorated with a few more objects from this pack and other miscellaneous items. And then I just hang a couple of paintings to decorate just a little tiny bit more. And this build actually has 2 balconies as well. So there's one downstairs right off of the, I think off of the kitchen. Yeah, off the kitchen. And then there's one upstairs right off of the daughter's bedroom. And there's a couple of activities and just kind of places to sit there. There's nothing too exciting. And this is the daughter's bathroom. I actually completely skimmed over the grandmother's bathroom, the mother's bathroom downstairs, but it's pretty identical to that, maybe with a little less pink in like the towels and stuff. So there's some gardening pots on these balconies. There's a seating area on the bottom one for grandma, and then upstairs is a flower arranging station, so maybe one or both of them kind of dabble in that too. There's also wind chimes basically at every entrance / exit of this build. Like on the back porch, the 2 balconies, and on the front porch. And now I'm finally doing the landscaping in the backyard, which I had a lot more space than I anticipated in the backyard. So it was kind of fun to fill it with even more overgrown plants and flowers and stuff like that. And I really liked the landscaping in this build. I know I mentioned it at the beginning, but I don't know why. I just really, really enjoyed it. It just looked really full, and I kind of wanted to just like fall into the bushes. That's how I measured my enjoyment of the landscaping, is that I wanted to climb into it, but take that for what it is. I have no idea. But they have this nice big tree in the backyard, as well as a couple of birch trees. And then I make a little garden. So maybe grandma loves, I keep saying grandma, maybe mom loves gardening as well. And I used that nice decoration, like big sign archway thing from Eco Lifestyle. I thought it was perfect. I didn't plant anything there for the purposes of this build, but that is absolutely where you could do it. And then they have like a little seating area. There's a couple of sprinklers in the front and the back. And there's also a bee box. And I think that's pretty much it. There's also the little bug box on the porch. So I hope you guys enjoyed this build. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you guys next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
I wanna jump around when I think about yesterday. Your smile, your style so fly, my oh my. As time stood still, I got the urge to steal a kiss, and so I did. Now I'm embarrassed, but just a little bit.